Welcome back to the lineup, breaking down college football over the weekend. Week 3 slate did not disappoint. Some crazy games, some crazy finishes, some shocking results, as always, in the college football landscape. Once again, Ryan Croak, Jake Bowen, Joel Palacic. Jake, we're going to start with Georgia and Tennessee. Georgia picking up its 9th straight win over Tennessee, winning 44-41 in overtime in a thriller at Neyland Stadium.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the quarterbacks for both teams, Gunnar Stockton and Joey Aguilar, both over 340 passing yards. Stockton, 3 touchdowns. Aguilar, 4 touchdowns. Joel, when I saw Gunnar Stockton get that first rushing touchdown, it's probably the most crazy I've ever seen him, his reaction after that, and you knew that this game was going to be crazy. Tennessee, 21-7 lead with 3 straight scoring drives, but Georgia, the Bulldogs, they got that dog in them.
Yeah, the quarterback play really exceeded my expectations in this one. You look at Gunnar Stockton from the end of last season for the Bulldogs, and you look at him now, he has matured so much. And you look at Aguilar, he's been great. 2 interceptions in the game, but the one wasn't even on him. His receiver tripped. They both were outstanding.
Speaking on Stockton maturing, Kirby Smart said post-game, he said, quote, he grew up in that game. Like, in that game, Stockton grew up to the level. So great point about the maturity. Kirby Smart agreed with you. And talking about Aguilar, I thought he looked stellar. Quick stat for you. He started the game 14 of 14 for 213 yards and 2 touchdowns. First time in 20 years that an SEC quarterback has started the game completing his first 14 passes. Joey Aguilar is the real deal. And I got a take for you, and I think that this is a fun one that we can discuss. I think the best decision the committee made this week was by keeping Tennessee at the 15th spot in the poll. And I'm willing to go as far as to argue Tennessee's a top 3 team in the SEC right now.
I completely
Georgia's
agree
1, LSU, Tennessee's 3. I don't care that Oklahoma and Texas A&M and Texas are higher in the poll than Tennessee. Tennessee played the best game of any of those 4 teams all season this weekend in a loss, and I think they're a top 3 team in the SEC. Joey Aguilar is the real deal. This team can make some noise. And I had some doubts about them last season with Nico, but I think Aguilar is far and away better, and he showed it in this game despite the loss.
Ryan, I could not
And
agree
they had a
with
chance
you
to
more.
win in regulation.
I couldn't agree with you more. You look at this paper right here, the first thing that I have, Tennessee stayed put in the poll. A great decision by AP, and they make a lot of bad decisions.
Yes.
That was the right call, and they are top 3. I agree with your order. Put Georgia number 1.
Yep.
But again, I really thought Tennessee was going to win that game throughout it. I mean,
They
Gunnar
had a
Stockton
chance.
led
It
a
was
great
just a missed
drive
kick
in
at the end. It was
exactly right.
They did everything right.
They really did everything that they could have.
Yeah, first time Georgia has allowed 3 scores on the opening 3 drives since I don't remember.
They came out
It's been a
firing.
long time. It's been a long time.
What, 2 minutes and a touchdown? That was unbelievable.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
You know, I don't know if Tennessee is a top 3 team. I don't have a definite answer for you right now.
In the SEC?
You think
But
they're-
so
you think Texas is
in
better
the
than them?
SEC.
You think Texas is better than them?
I think that Texas can be. I think right now Texas
wow.
A&M is.
They can be.
You think A&M's better than
I
Texas?
think we'll talk
Okay,
about.
all
We'll talk about.
right,
We'll talk about.
okay.
Speaking of Texas
Well-
A&M, they just took down. Did you want to talk about Tennessee?
I was going to mention
Go
one
ahead.
thing.
Go ahead. We'll wait on Texas A&M.
This game just shows that it really just means more in the SEC. I mean,
does.
these
Yeah.
competitive games next week: Alabama, Georgia, Auburn, and Oklahoma. It's just a crazy conference, and I wouldn't be surprised if 5 teams get in.
teams.
I'd love to
All right,
disagree
yeah.
with you,
11
but you're
teams
right.
in the
11
top
teams.
It does
25
mean
right
more.
now.
It does mean
11
more.
teams in the top 25. Absolutely nuts. And speaking of another SEC team, Jake, you touched on them. Texas A&M picking up a win in South Bend, 41-40, making the Notre Dame Fighting Irish the reigning national runner-ups 0-2 to start their season. Now, Jake, I know you got a lot to say on this one, but Joel, we're going to go to you first. What is your major takeaway from this matchup?
Listen, A&M, great win for that program. But this game is still all about Notre Dame. There is 0 room for error for Notre Dame.
Yep.
0. The only ranked opponent that they have left in the schedule as of now is USC. If they win out, I can totally see them making the playoffs. They would have 2 losses, probably top 10 teams, combined 4 points. But they have to run the table. No questions asked about it.
Yeah. I think they have to run the table. I think they need help from Miami and A&M. Those 2 losses
You're rooting
need
for
to
them
look
if you're an
great.
AD fan.
They need to look great at the end of the season.
Absolutely.
I think A&M is a little bit shaky too. I think the A&M loss will
Right.
come back to bite them.
Notre Dame, plan your trips to Cancun because it's over. 10,
All
you
right.
got to win against 10 teams in a row. And while that schedule is
That's
favorable,
what they did last year.
You got to
That's what they did last year.
Yeah, but you look at their resume. You have to look at their resume.
Their resume this year probably looks better than it did last year.
I still think the SEC is way better than it was last year. So Notre Dame, I mean,
Okay, that again makes the Notre Dame's argument better than it was last year.
I don't
understand
think
what
so.
You're talking about 11-1, you have the loss to LIU, and you're going to argue that they're
11-1 last year, right?
Yeah,
10-2 this year.
You're two. Okay, Joel, be the voice of reason. 11-1 with a loss to LIU, or 10-2 with losses to Miami, who's a top 4 team, and Texas A&M, who's now in the top 10.
10-2.
Thank you.
was
Thank you.
awful
I
loss.
disagree.
Absolutely.
But
disagree.
easier to make the playoffs with the 11-1. But that
Yes.
loss was atrocious.
Yes, I think it's definitely within reach, but you're right. They have to play flawless football. They need help from Miami and A&M. And I will say this. I think that people acting like Notre Dame played poorly in this game are absolutely nuts. Notre Dame lost this game because of a botched snap on an extra point. If that's what it comes down to in a game like this, I do not think that you have the right to look at a performance like this from the Irish and say that they are completely out of the picture and that you're writing them off already. I think Texas A&M played a great game. I think that Marcel Reed showed a lot. I think Mike Elko's squad really, really impressed in this one. That should be the takeaway. Not that Notre Dame is somehow a bad football team because of one play that ended up costing them the game.
I agree. There was an
It's
obvious
ridiculous.
missed hold call, too,
Correct.
on that final drive where Tennessee won it. So.
Correct, 100%. All right. Speaking of a loss, and an upset loss at that, talk about Georgia Tech taking down Clemson in Atlanta. What a disastrous start for the Tigers. They're 1-2, their worst start in over a decade. Jake, is Clemson out of it just like you think Notre Dame is?
No, because they are in a conference. I mean, Notre Dame should be in a conference. I don't know what you're doing fighting Irish, but Clemson's, they're in the ACC, and the ACC is not exactly the strongest conference. But they have a chance because of their roster. Cade Klubnik is an elite quarterback. Now, he didn't show it in the first 3 weeks, but he didn't play as bad as people think in that game against Georgia Tech. 2 touchdowns and over 270 yards in INT. Yes, he should have played better, but it's not a bad performance from Cade Klubnik. And I know you don't like him, Ryan, but if you just look at the performance on paper, he had that one bad interception near the goal line, but it wasn't a bad
interception
game.
cost them the game.
Of course, but it's not a bad.
Listen, I will say this. I was an anti-Klubnik guy before this year. I came in actually to liking Klubnik a lot. He was my preseason Heisman pick. 633 yards on sub-60 completion percentage thus far.
Maybe that's why he's
3
bad.
touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He has not been good. He's been a liability for Clemson.
Well, in this game in particular, he wasn't bad.
Jake-
Well, you look at the Troy game where you barely scratched by Troy. That's concerning.
Jake, not so fast, my friend. Clemson, they look awful.
They do.
You look at Klubnik, he's on pace to have the worst season of his entire career, and Dabo is just not adjusting to the new era of college football. But this game is more about Georgia Tech, believe it or not.
I like this take.
You look at their schedule, and they're going to be favored in every single game that they have left, besides the last one where they play the Bulldogs. And you saw last year's game, 8 overtimes they took them to away. They were at Georgia, 8 overtime game. They ended up losing by 2. They have them at home this year. I think Georgia Tech makes the playoffs at 11-2 with a loss in the ACC championship.
I like that take.
I like it too. Haynes King is reminding me of an SEC quarterback. He just puts his head down. He works hard. He has that winning mentality. He's relentless, and he's what Georgia Tech needs.
Speaking of Haynes King, 304 of 358 Georgia Tech yards in that game, Haynes King was responsible for.
Yeah.
Just
He's
an
a baller.
absolute
He's a
dog.
baller.
And the,
So
at the
much
quarterback
experience. He's
position.
been there for like 80
And
years.
I want to touch
So
on the
experienced.
Clemson thing that you said, Jake, because they're in a conference, they have a chance. I agree with you. The only way this team makes the playoff is if they win the ACC championship, get that auto
Yes,
bid.
agreed.
But they have to play flawless football. They have to play even better than Notre Dame does. They have to play more flawless than the Irish do going forward because they have no room for error. If they lose another one of these ACC games, it is totally on the board that the ACC championship game will be played by 2 teams who have undefeated conference records. They already are 0-1 in conference play. They need serious help from their conference friends to lose some games along the way, get Clemson into that spot so they have a chance. But they need to play perfect, and they need
Absolutely.
help.
I don't
They
think
want
that
a
Troy
chance.
game was a fluke.
I
don't think it was.
agree 100%.
I don't think it was.
100%. We're going to wrap up shop here on the lineup. We're going to give some quarterback Heisman stock updates following this break.